I'm with Mike Burke of Sitka Gold, a company that drilled probably one of the best gold intercepts of 2024. 678 meters of over a gram per ton in hole 68, the Blackjack deposit. Mike, how do you top the results from 2024 and 2025?
Well, a big thing that we did, not only you talked about the Blackjack, where we've been drilling for a couple years, expanding on an initial resource that we put out there in 2023. But this year we acquired the southern part of the Clear Creek intrusive complex, where there's a cluster of these intrusions, and we drilled two of them, the Rosgobble and the Pukelman. We had discovery holes in both of those. And we just acquired those in the summer. We're able to get 2 holes in those each. So how can we top it? These are brand new discoveries, and we always know, there's a lot more unknowns with those. The good thing is we're in a 3 by 5 kilometer area. We know the controls on mineralization. So there's a lot more potential for additional discoveries. And that's what really drives exploration and exploration companies. These intrusive related targets like the Blackjack, where we have a deposit that's growing. The Eiger, we have a deposit that will be able to grow in these 2 new discoveries. They all can, reasonably host, 3 to 5 million ounces. If you look at, Fort Knox, the Eagle deposit, Freegold over in Alaska, these intrusion-related deposits can be quite large. So we've got a cluster of 7 of these intrusions in a small area. We've got 2 deposits that we haven't fully defined, and 2 new drill holes and 2 intrusions that look pretty darn good with plus 100 gram meter intersections. So yeah, we're going to top it by doing 30,000 meters of drilling and known deposits as well as new discoveries.
Rosgobble, you had some good results there. 30,000 meters of drilling in total in 2025. How many will you put into the Rosgobble, the Blackjack, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so we've planned 30,000 meters of drilling. The Blackjack and Eiger are about 2 kilometers apart with another zone in between them called the Saddle. We've planned about 15,000 for there to continue expanding those deposits. We're going to put out a new resource on Blackjack where we've been focusing our efforts. We've done 2 years of drilling. Original resource was based on 7,500 meters of drilling. We've done another 14,000. We're going to update that resource. So we'll do about 15,000 meters there because we're not done yet. The Rosgobble, where we had 2 plus 100 gram meter holes, it's a really nice large target. We're going to do 10,000 meters of drilling there. Again, stepping out at kind of 100 meter intervals, which is enough drilling density to give us a potential inferred resource. And the same over at Pukelman, we'll do 5,000 meters of drilling there. So between those 4 areas, 30,000 meters. There's another target called the Bearpaw Breccia that's close to the Rosgobble intrusion. It's had historical drilling. It has a historical plus 100 gram meter hole in it as well. So we're hoping to get over there and maybe do, 2,000 to 3,000 meters of drilling there as well.
That hole 68, the Blackjack, what's really exciting about that is you extended the deposit at depth, and the hole ended in like almost 100 meters of over 2 grams per ton. So the grade increased at depth. Now that's deep. It was pretty deep down, but when you're seeing those encouraging signs, like the grade is increasing at depth and it's getting into the high grade area, do you test that further now? Are you gonna?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of our drilling at Blackjack is to test that depth. We're definitely that was 200 meters below any other drilling. We've got two holes that drilled over 700 meters. Hole 68 and 72. 72 hit half a gram over its entire length, but it was 90 meters away from 68. So the question for us, because there's 2 holes, that's not a lot to go off on to figure out the shape of what's going on down there. Are we looking at a kind of carrot-shaped deposit where this is the kind of feeder and then it blows out at the top? So you can go down those holes, wedge off them to do smaller step outs, because we do see higher grades down there. And we're hoping that continues. And by doing some more work there, can start seeing, is there that real potential for an underground deposit? Because, if you get a 50-meter wide zone that's running, 3 to 5 grams per ton, well, you're in the money down there too. So that potential at depth, these intrusion-related gold models are really evolving. We don't know, typically the upper carapace is mineralized, but how thick is that zone of mineralization? A lot of people have drilled deep. I think Snowline's drilled 850-meter deep hole. They hit mineralization down the bottom of that. Victoria Gold back in 2022 did the Eagle Deeps drilling. They were drilling over 800 meters, hitting mineralization there. So there's, the knowledge and understanding of these deposits are evolving. And that's what we're seeing at Blackjack. Our knowledge is evolving. And so, to tap in, like what's driving these systems is a pretty neat challenge. And we're hoping to, crack that egg open.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the 2025 season. You guys are cashed up. You have a really good plan. You've got a target-rich environment, as I said. I mean, that's kind of an overused expression, but here at the RC Gold Project, it is really true. You've got no shortage of drill targets. I want to ask you about the Yukon more broadly and the Tombstone Gold Belt. So this gold belt has really taken shape in the last several years. I don't recall in 2018 that people were calling it the Tombstone Gold Belt, and now it's a Tombstone Gold Belt with Sitka, with Snowline, with Banyan. Tens of millions of ounces of gold seem to be taking shape in this area. How do you see this evolving? Everybody talks about the lack of infrastructure, in the Yukon, or they need to tie into the power grid in BC, yada, yada, yada. But I think you got to go to where the big deposits are. And if there's 30, 40, 50 million, 50 million ounces of gold, you're going to build some mines here, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of wealth in a mine, whether it's gold or otherwise, and that drives development. The Yukon's history is mining. The Klondike Gold Rush happened there. That started the first phase of development. We've had other mines in the Yukon that have led to, new roads, new power dams. So, to find sizable economic deposits within this Tombstone Gold Belt in the Yukon will drive more of that. So, the Yukon, as far as the Northern Territory, it's infrastructure challenge, but as far as the Northern Territories, the Yukon's pretty darn good. People ask us about our location. We're 2 hours from Dawson. You can fly in there in a jet, and you're 2-hour drive to our property. So our location's very good, but of course you're in the north, it's going to cost you a bit more money. Mm-hmm. So, but the part of the belt that we're in has seen a lot of work, a lot of placer mining. People talk about Snowline, it's a little more isolated. But, I had an epiphany when I traveled to Peru and toured Antamina back in the day. If you
Some
do
serious
have,
elevation.
If you do have a world-class deposit, and that's what Snowline is, kudos to my comrades and friends at Snowline. It's fantastic. Man, oh man. So I don't care where that thing is. You could fly in a helicopter and mine that thing. We'll see, right? That's a forward-looking statement, but it's a great deposit. So, I think this gold mining in the Tombstone Belt is going to be a big part of the Yukon's future, and it's going to drive additional development there.
For people who just got to the story, let's say in the last several months, can you tell us why you think the share price came off? It obviously had a tremendous run from like 20 cents to almost 60 cents. It's pulled back a bit here. I think it's a pretty good opportunity at these levels, near 30 cents. But, is there any specific reason why there was some selling in the stock?
We released the final results of the season, right? So typically there's a bit of a dry spell, between now and when we start drilling again. But we've, people might forget we drill in the winter. We can drill year round. So we're going to have, new results starting to come out. We haven't pulled the trigger on a winter drilling program, but we're looking at starting up in February again. As I mentioned, we are updating our resource. We've got 2 years of drilling, so we're working hard to get that out as soon as we can. So there's a lot of near-term news that we think is going to come out and drive that. Maybe the market thinks that the news flow dried up for Sitka Gold, but if that's what they're thinking, you're wrong.
I just learned something new. Mike, thank you so much for your time.